we've been talking past each other for the last 30 minutes, and we haven't gotten anywhere. So,
I think I've been smacking you around on a point you made for the last 30 minutes, but you know.
But when economists make these predictions, they don't give a timetable for when it would be impossible.
That's not true at all. Of course they do.
What?
So you're telling me Paul Krugman?
So hold on. So wait. So when economists say, okay, inflation is likely to kick up, they're not going to tell you, so we're going to see inflation July 22nd at 3 o'clock, right?
Of course not. No one's suggesting that.
That is my point.
No, that's not your point. That
is exactly my point.
Okay.
So hold on. So when economists come out and so when they say, okay, so for example, we are predicting inflation to kick up due to these tariffs, right? And for the first 3 months, there is no movement in the inflation market.
When did tariffs start?
When was the Liberation Day? February?
It's February, March. I don't know.
I think it was February.
Okay, so they started in February.
So let's I believe it was in February.
Okay,
right?
So proceed. I'm sorry. We'll go with February. I don't have the date in front of me. Fine, we'll go with that. Okay, it's in February, or at least can we agree at this? Your argument is that tariffs started to be implemented in February. At least talk of them. I don't know if that's true, but that's fine. We'll go with that.
Well, yeah. Well, let's just say for the sake of argument, Liquidation Day was February.
Okay.
And so. I haven't seen one. Maybe you can point me to it. Maybe you're more privy to the economists of the world, but I haven't seen one yet that's going to say that has said next month is when inflation is going to kick up. And keep in mind, we're only in the third, fourth month of this process. And the simple point that I highlighted that for some reason you're just blowing out of proportion is that there's a reversal in trend. And so when you wanted to wave off when I say, look, you'll be right if next month it drops back again. Then maybe there won't be any kind of a long-term effect from tariffs. And at that point, I'll simply concede, right? I mean, that's the way these things work. But the reversal in trend is concerning to a lot of economists, and that is a fact.
Okay, there's a lot to say here. First, what you tried to claim here was that economists don't put a time frame on their claims. I said that's not true. You're like, oh, so you're saying they say tariffs will increase inflation by this percentage on June 3rd at 2 p.m. Of course they don't say that, but it is ludicrous to say that they don't put some sort of generic time frame on their argumentation. For example, I'm not an economist. Watch this. In the future, inflation will uptick and downtick. You think I'll be proven right?
Oh, you're not. You're doing the Nostradamus effect, right?
No, it has nothing to do with Nostradamus effect, right? It has to do if there is a claim and a prediction made of anything that says something will go up and it will go down, and there's no time frame given. I'm given infinite time frame, then inevitably I'll be proven correct. Right. So you acknowledge. Let me finish. So then you would acknowledge the absurdity of that, which would imply that economists, when they're making predictions like this, would have to give some sort of ballpark time frame, correct?
Well, yeah, ballpark time frame is now. So now you're moving the goalpost.
I'm not moving the goalpost. Like you're the one who said you definitively said that they're not giving a time frame at all. They're not giving any time frame. That's what you said.
Okay, so now we're down to some ambiguous time frame. Okay, so what's the time frame?
You tell me. You're talking about the economists. Go ahead. It's your claim. You tell me what their time frame was. You said they didn't have any time frame. I think that's absurd. You tell me then what the time frame is.
No, you said you're the one that also just made the claim that economists are making preliminary timeframes, that they give some kind of a ballpark timeframe.
They have to. What'll happen is they'll say this. They'll say this action will cause some sort of inflation, right? In this case, you said they predicted tariffs would cause inflation, right?
Correct.
The implication, you tell me if I'm wrong, that they're making, I don't know exactly what economists you're looking at, so I'll need you to tell me whether or not this is true. The implication is as follows. Both for the unpredictability that tariffs will bring and companies thinking because the tariffs are being enacted that they will invest less and have to pay more and charge their consumers more, and because the tariffs literally mean they're paying more for products, that will be what causes inflation. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay. Then you say that there's no time frame given on this, though, right?
Not a specific time frame.
Okay, and last thing, you say that you're not me, I'm just testing your argument here. You say, let's say for the sake of argument, these tariff policies started in February of 2025.
Yes.
Okay, Why then did we see in months after these tariffs, what you just said, that the economists you're listening to said the inflation would have been triggered by the unpredictability and the literal increase in prices from the tariffs? Why did we not see inflation for February, March, April, May, and we just saw it in June? For 4 months, why didn't we see inflation once these policies were in place?
So point to me to the rule that says that inflation would kick up instantly as the policy is implemented. Where's that rule?
The rule that you just acknowledged, that these economists said that the reason would be the tariffs would cause unpredictability, which would mean consumers would have to pay more, and it would cause increase in prices for manufacturers, which would mean consumers would have to pay more. That's you. So this is why.
Rob,
I'll leave you answer. Sure.
We're talking right past each other right now.
No, we're not. I'm directly responding to you.
Yes, we are. You're not listening to what I'm saying, and I'm trying to listen to what you're saying. Okay, so look. Let's do this. So we can keep talking about tariffs, right? But we're burning daylight. Jake, is the conversation at least dynamic? Is it lively? Should we continue?
This is actually a great conversation right now, or debate. Actually, I would call it a debate. Yeah, continue. I love this so much right now, guys. Go ahead, RC3. You got the point there.
Okay, so I mean, I don't want to keep talking about tariffs because we're just not agreeing.
Well, can I just real quick put a bow on this, right? Like,
yeah, go ahead.
There has to be something. If they say this is the thing that will cause tariffs, and we say, well, it could be literally, it will immediately cause consumers to pay more, and then for 4 months we don't see it. Then we see a slight uptick, and you go, see, they were right. Then their predictions are nonsensical. I could literally say that about anything. I could say, for example,
my argument.
No, I'm not strawmanning your argument because you're making an argument that their claim is indefinite, right? That inevitably it could be. Let me say this. Let's say that it flatlines, right? Hypothetically, that tariff year-over-year inflation stays at 2.7% for the next 6 months. Fair enough? We can engage in this hypothetical?
Good.
On the 7th month, then, inflation goes up to 3%, and economists say, see, we told you tariffs would do this. Would you agree with them that tariffs caused it?
It would just depend on what policies are being implemented.
The tariffs policy, everything stays the same.
Well, I mean, that I can't tell you. I don't know. Like I said, I mean...
Well, it would be obvious that it would be the tariffs, RC3, because if everything stays the same, right?
But there has, I mean, right. So yeah, that's true. So, but there has to be a confluence in the analysis, right? So the analysis has to be based on geopolitical factors, right? So like, are we in this time? Did a trade deal happen? Are we still not seeing any trade deals happening, right? So I mean, did Trump, did he go full taco and he backed out of tariffs, right? So, I mean,
but you acknowledge.
I want to say yes. I want to say yes,
right.
But I mean, but there's a confluence of factors, and you got to acknowledge that.
But of course, but that confluence of factors would prove that the economist predictions bullshit anyways, because they would only be looking at things in a vacuum. Yes, of course, you could say all things considered, if the tariffs don't lead to increased trade deals, increased manufacturing in the United States, et cetera, then it'll lead to increased prices. But it may lead to all those things. Now, when you're saying that these economists are saying this action will cause increase in prices, and then that action occurs, and it doesn't in month 1, and it doesn't in month 2, and it doesn't in month 3, and it doesn't in month 4, and then in month 5 there's a slight uptick, still far less than it was under the average Biden administration, and you're like, see, they were right. I find that to be nonsensical. I could say, well, there was a confluence of factors. For example, look at all the trade deals. We just had a trade deal with Japan. We had all of these other trade deals that were announced. See, these tariffs led to trade deals, which led to inflation not being as high as people expected. Do you see the problem with this prediction? And if we bring it back to sort of the central focus on this of sort of economic populism, you still haven't contended with the fact that this actually is as pure as it gets for economic populism. In fact, much to the chagrin of people that I have a deep affluence for, which is the libertarians. They're not big fans. I myself am not a huge fan of tariffs. But if nothing else, this is designed to protect the American worker. This is a pure form of economic populism, which you haven't addressed.
So then let's finally get to that, because like I said, we've been talking past each other for the last 30 minutes and we haven't got anywhere. So,
I think I've been smacking you around on a point you made for the last 30 minutes, but
okay, I mean, you can, of course you're going to think that. But
that is true.
Let me put a final bow on the point I was making, okay? And then we'll move on to the claim. So my point was simple, right? Is that the tariffs kicked in February, right? We didn't see much movement in March, April, and in May, and right now there was a reversal in that trend, right? That's the point that I was making, okay?
Now, wait a second. I hate to do this. I know this is bad form, but again, this is bad form. You're saying we didn't see much movement, but you're saying that from May to June, a 2.4 to a 2.7 is significant movement?
I'm sorry, the what?
You're saying that from May, we had 2.4 year-over-year inflation, to June, which is 2.7. You're saying that's significant, correct? That's a reversal in trend.
Well, the trend reversal is significant.
Okay, but then wouldn't the trend reversal of we went from 2.8 in February down to 2.4 in March after, in your words, these tariff policies should have been triggering inflation, that's a 0.4% decrease. So when you say we didn't see much movement, that's more movement downward than the movement upward that you're saying significant, which is only 0.3%.
So then my next question to you is, why is there a movement upward then?
Well, there could be a litany of factors. Like, for example, it could be that tariffs are partially pushing upwards. It could be so many other things. It could be...
That's all I'm saying, Rob. That's all I'm saying.
No. Let's be clear. That's not what you're saying. You're making the claim
now it's my turn to slap you around a little bit.
No. That's not what you're saying. The implication of what you're saying is... So your claim is just, we don't know, maybe tariffs are causing a slight uptick in inflation. That's your claim?
My claim is that's what economists are saying.
Okay, well, you have to defend that their position is correct.
I know you don't give a shit, right? But you're not an economist, Rob, and neither am I.
Right? But RC3, if you're gonna appeal to the economists, you have to kind of give a claim of why you believe that. I'm
arguing from your rationale of why you say you believe that. This is just an appeal to authority. Like, Scott Bessent disagrees with you. He's an economist. He's at the Treasury. He says that you're wrong. Now what? How do we decide that? So the way we decide this is we debate the claims as we interpret of why we believe what these experts are saying. It's a fallacy to just say, I appeal to the expert, they must be right. But the truth is that's not what you're saying. At least that's not the implicit implication of what you're saying. You're saying, in the general construct of your argument here, is Trump is not an economic populist because tariffs will cause inflation, which hurts common people, right? That's your argument. And so now you've gotten beaten so bad on this is you're saying, well, economists are saying this slight 0.3% uptick could be because of tariffs. That's a very weak position based on the thunder you came in with, saying you were going to prove that Trump wasn't an economic populist.
I mean, the fact that you've been talking and you didn't even catch your mistake on this one, you've already admitted that this surplus that we're talking about has been a tax on the American consumer. Where's the populism in that?
Well, it's not, because we'd have to compare it to something. Now, we've started with you saying that it should be compared to...
You fell into your own trap, Rob.
I did not. Let me explain, right? It would depend on who we would have to compare it to, right? And so you started off making the claim that we should compare it to Biden's last quarter, which I've already proved to you. There is less inflation year over year, even with these tariffs, which are bringing a surplus, than Biden, which caused mass inflation and brought no surplus.